Would you like to bitch about our technical difficulties?
Yeah, I would. I would love to. I'm like really trying to like cry, but I'm too bad. Like,
So
okay.
our mics died.
So
It's
so
just so many things.
yeah, and everything is kind of fucked. And the little me is crying for help. The little alien guy who controls my head is like,
Howdy, Misfits. Welcome back to the #1 movie podcast in the world. Your go-to place where movie-loving friends dive into movies that they love, movies that they hate, and movies that they love to hate. I'm Oliver.
and I'm Sparsh. And today we're diving into the world of telekinesis, some pretty cool pranks, and honestly, I think one of the few found footage films that might just work. I'm talking about from 2012, The Chronicle, brought to you by Fox Studios.
And I wanted to do a recipe off the New York Times, and so I go to the store, I buy the ingredients, I come back home. I realized that this recipe required me to put the cookie dough in the fridge for 12 hours before I cook
Yeah.
it. So bake it. So that didn't work. So I go on the internet, and I find just a mom and pop, a random no names, chocolate chip cookie recipe, and fucking you get now 6 lines of text and an ad, and it's 70% of your screen,
Yeah.
and then 4 lines of text, and then 70% of your screen is an ad, and every single scroll is just a fucking
Yeah.
ad.
And it's really annoying because you're trying to like, and okay, also
Speaking of which, this video is sponsored by.
right,
Quick shout out to our sponsors.
sponsors. Hey, please, anybody, right? Anybody.
All 7 of our viewers.
Well, 7 of our viewers. It's just like my mom on like different devices.
Thanks, mom and dad. What were you saying?
It's really annoying because I'll open like a headline and I'll be like, oh, this seems interesting. And then I'll try to read it. First of all, they always have to create this like backstory about it. And the actual meat of the article is like 7 scrolls down. And then there's like 6 advertisements totally unrelated to what the article is about. And it's like, I don't want this.
Yeah, or like if you're looking up something for a video game, and it's like, how to do this, and it's and they hint at it in the link to the website, and then you go, it's an IGN, and it's like the first half of the entire website is a whole background on the video game. It's like, bitch, I know, I'm playing it.
Yeah.
Give me the fucking answer.
I just want to know where this Easter egg is hidden.
Seriously. Or you do a recipe for something, and it's like, I used to eat this in my kitchen, and my great grandmother. It's like, I don't give a fuck. Tell me what temperature to put the oven at.
Yeah.
Right? How long am I cooking my chicken breast?
How did the cookies turn out?
Terrible.
Terrible. Oh, that's the
I don't
best
know
cookie.
I don't know. It wasn't the best cookie. I mean, it almost is the best cookie, and I'll tell you why. It's because it's good enough so that like it's still enjoyable, but it's bad enough so that I don't just want to keep eating them. But it's like, I've got now a batch of cookies sitting in my home, and so pretty much all throughout my day, I find a nice time to have another bite of cookie, and that's all I want for the moment.
And it hits you like, okay, I can't eat that.
Yeah, it's not very good, so I put it back down. But then I'm like, I kind of want some more of that, so
Yeah.
it's like a really flavorful. I want to say really, it's kind of like burnt popcorn. It's like if you just nonstop eat burnt popcorn, it's like kind of nasty. But if you take breaks in between, it's like, I want some more.
Yeah, totally. One thing I really struggle with is whenever because I never bake because I think it's really restrictive because you have to be like very
yeah, yeah, yeah,
specific with the
yeah, yeah,
portions.
yeah. I
And
agree with that.
that's why I enjoy cooking more because you can like
Yeah, fuck
do
around
your
with
thing.
it. Substitutes are really easy.
Yeah,
You know,
and
you don't need to have baking soda and baking powder. You don't have to
bro,
worry about fucking that up either.
what are those? You
Yeah.
just hope it rises.
I get baked and drink soda. What?
Yeah.
I get baked and snort powder,
Yeah,
but
you lost me at baking. And I hate whenever somebody like bakes something and I have to try it, but I don't really like it, and I have to tell them
it's
it's
great.
really
Yeah.
nice.
It's like when you used to get socks for a Christmas present as a kid.
Oh,
But what you didn't know as a kid was socks would then become your favorite Christmas present.
yeah. But I think that's kind of like being forced down that we've just accepted. Okay, we all just love socks.
No, I like socks.
Yeah,
Like when I get socks as a
Yeah.
gift, I'm stoked.
yeah, because we don't. It's like the smallest thing that we've refused to. Oh, I can just go buy socks when I want, and then they're like, "No, let's wait for Christmas, man. I know this aunt who'll give me these socks
Amen.
because
Brother.
all she does is give
It's like
socks."
you don't make an entire detour. You don't just go to the store for socks. Like if I'm at the store and unless I'm passing the store and it happens to be, but you know what? I've started trying to do that, and I haven't right now, and I need to. I was telling you.
While I
need
see
to-
the hole
I need-
there, yeah, I got new socks.
Cut it. But did I tell you when Joanna bought me socks?
No.
So I'm in Victoria. Mike had been dating Joanna for a little while at this point, and maybe 3-4 months. I don't know. I wake up one day and there's a package in my mailbox, and I open it up. It's for me. I haven't ordered anything, but there's a package for me. It has my name. Awesome. I open it up. It's like 6 pairs of these funky socks, with the fish or sushi or the burritos or avocados or whatever. And like someone sent me socks, and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck. Like imagine you go down to your mail room tomorrow, and there's a package of 6 brand new funky socks in your mail.
This Santa's real.
Santa's real, right? And I connected a couple dots, and I realized Joanna had bought Mike some socks like this recently. I was like, she just bought me some socks, and I thought that was, I had never met her, and if your brother. Say your brother's in India, right? And he starts dating a girl. And then 4 months later, she sends you socks.
Yeah.
Just like trying to be nice.
I'm so skeptical. I'm like, you're playing games, girl. You're trying to like win the younger brother over and get him on your side.
Yeah, you're either sketchy or you're really good. It's one of the two, right?
Because Sahil's ex, she actually reached out for his birthday and asked about like, oh, can you make like a birthday video for Sahil?
Yeah.
And I had no idea of her existence. She just DM'd me on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, new boo.
Who is? Jessica?
Jessica. That would have been cool. And I remember I was in between houses because it was COVID and everybody I was living with had just moved out. And I moved into my friend's house for a week, and he had gone somewhere. It was just me, and I was playing Call of Duty on my monitor, shirtless.
Nice.
When the message and the request came. So while I was shirtless, I just took up my phone, super bad quality, no heart and emotion into it, just creating dominance. Right? Just be like, yo, happy birthday, bro.
Nice.
Love you.
Honestly, that's the best way to do it. I think that like in that moment, just so genuine, totally fits. If that happened for me, if Mike sent me that video, I would have been like, yeah, great. I think so.
Yeah, but I do respect the fact that she went out of her way to like, I think it's like cool, and some of it might come like, oh shit, I wish somebody was doing this for me, right? But then also it's like, nah, she's playing games, man. She's trying to win everybody on her side.
Yeah. What's she hiding?
Yeah.
Nice gesture. Nice gesture overall. I don't know.
Have you done a lot of like birthday videos?
I've done one.
One.
I did one. I organized one for my friend. I don't know if that was no, it wasn't my idea. I wouldn't have come up with that. I think it was his girlfriend. His girlfriend, yeah, she wanted. We all worked together in Ottawa. It was Chico, and I had moved out here, and it was my first year away, and we were really good friends. And she wanted to make a birthday video for him, and so me and Wells we made a submission. I forget if Mike did one too. Anyway, and I was so down on Robson.
Mm-hmm.
About a block away from IGA, there's it's like I want to call it tractor, but it's like a health food shop, and then the alleyway that's next to it has those like Chinese lanterns hanging.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of a nice alleyway. It's just from the Telus Garden, on the where the Telus Garden is, and and it was in that alleyway. So I was super animated.
Yeah.
That's when I still pitched like a fucking goof. Yeah. Hey, I'm Oliver.
You just got off a conversation or walking talk with somebody like, I'm pumped up. You know, hey, happy birthday.
Yeah, I might as well have. You know, man, times have changed. I read a pitch that I wrote in 2021 the other day. Not a great pitch.
It was like, give me your money. I've got a gun.
No, it was just like, hey, anyway, it was just, what do you think's the number one cause of poverty? Well, did you know?
Did you know? Yeah. That's the next one.
That's a terrifying sound.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, if a meteor could fall from the sky and grace you with a power, what power would you want that to be?
That's a good question. If a meteor comes over from the sky, I'm trying to think of all the superpowers, and it's always like when you think about what superpowers, you're like, I only can think of like 3 or 4.
What are those 3? The first 3 that come to mind. Boom.
Like invisibility.
Okay.
Super
useless
strength,
superpower.
right? Or super speed.
Speed would be. I think speed is your most useful there.
Right.
Strength, I feel like, is useful in the world to just like a certain degree. Like,
bro, imagine you can get all your groceries in one trip.
I already do.
Nice.
One trip, or it stays in the car.
Stays in the car.
Okay, I like. Those are your 3 go-tos, and then which of those 3 would you choose if you had one?
Probably super speed.
Super speed. I think that has by far the most utility of all of them.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask you one follow-up question, which is, those are the first 3 that come to mind. Where on your list is telekinesis?
I'm not a huge fan of telekinesis.
Go on.
Yeah, it's okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You know, you can like lift stuff with your brain and all, and often I just because I've seen like a lot of iterations. I think it's one of the most common superpowers that.
Certainly
like,
was in Hardcore Henry.
Right? Or Darkest Minds.
Yeah.
Right? But it's still, I guess, cool, you know, if you're like into lifting heavy things, and I guess flying comes along with it.
The flying is not always a granted in places where it's depicted, but I like that it was in this film.
If you have telekinesis and you're not flying, you're wasting your potential.
Amen.
100%.
Amen.
What about you?
Well, one of the first ones that came into my head immediately after I posed that question was just like a form of bending. I thought like air bending. So I think like that'd be cool. Another power. I've always thought the ability to convert matter, like Eve and Adam Eve, would just be. I mean, that is the perfect superpower. I feel like.
Yeah.
Because then you can create items that essentially give you other abilities as well.
Yeah,
So
100%. Like Green Lanterns, with the ring, and you can kind of make any object.
he can kind of, yeah, okay, but Green Lantern is such a punk in the world of superhero movies that have come out.
Mm-hmm.
He's just
Yeah,
not
this
had a
not
great
been
run.
like I think this recent Superman has I think been my favorite depiction of like one specific Green Lantern, which is like Guy Gardner,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Who's
yeah.
like
What was
it
up with his
in
haircut?
so it's actually a lot better than it's supposed to be, and it's also like an inside joke from what I've seen so far between James Gunn and Nathan Fillion, because
Yeah.
James Gunn is like really good friends with Nathan Fillion, and he'll get him like on almost all his movies to do some role or the other,
Yeah.
and he was like, I'm gonna choose the worst haircut possible to give it to this
Okay.
guy,
Okay.
and then I think
Sure.
Nathan
I
Fillion
like that.
carries it quite well, but the amount of potential, it's like Spider-Man, like Spider-Man is super duper strong
Mm.
physically, and his strength is not often always like depicted on like, oh, this is how strong he is, like,
Mm-hmm.
he can catch a full running car, can withstand getting
Yeah.
hit by a train, even in an Endgame, no, Infinity Wars. There's a scene where just before they end up going into space. Have you seen
Yeah. Yeah.
Infinity
Yeah.
Wars? Yeah, I don't want to spoil it
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Right, I care about people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah. Spoiler.
But there's a scene where Iron Man is fighting one of the sons of Thanos,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and Iron Man is getting his ass whooped by this guy whose hands kind of throw this like metal machinery, like a claw thing, and then Spider-Man comes in and kind of just catches it,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like when Bucky and what's his name, Falcon are like running in the airport in Civil War.
But I haven't really seen that. I
Yeah.
have once, but I don't remember
Yeah.
anything about
So
it.
there's a scene where like Bucky, who's like hit Captain America, who's supposed to be like the,
Yeah.
soldier. Uh, Captain America takes a hit, but then when Bucky punches Spider Man, he just catches it. And he's
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
oh, this is
Okay.
cool. So I think when you have like a superhero, especially when it's a very comic lore heavy superhero,
Mm.
it's really important to show like kind of all the attributes of the superhero. And so I think, yeah, that's kind of what the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern missed out essentially, was not really having those core abilities and kind of the charisma that
Mm-hmm.
Green Lanterns actually have. So yeah, telekinesis is
Interesting.
kind of the
Good
same,
point.
where there are a lot of variations of it, and sometimes they're like, when we saw Darkest Minds, that was when I was like, okay, you've got telekinesis. It's supposed to be like the strongest power in the, because you're an orange,
Mm-hmm.
and this is on the levels of other powers you have. It's kind of the most kind
No,
of, yeah.
telekinesis was blue. Orange was the mind control. Telekinesis
True,
was the step below. Yeah,
true,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And what was
Below red,
red was
it was,
blue was below red. It was
yeah.
orange, red, blue, green. And green
Green
was
was on the bottom,
intelligence.
right? Yeah,
Telekinesis was stupid fucking movie. I don't want to.
yeah. I'm glad we watched
I
it.
still, you know what though? I look back on it oddly fondly,
Mm.
not necessarily fondly, but there's something about it that's like, yeah, okay. I might even watch it again.
So, yeah, sorry, I totally forgot. Yeah, a superpower
Oh yeah,
that
so
you're choosing.
superpower. So I think the ability to convert matter, bending, and I don't know. I'll choose a third one. I'm just gonna honestly, I'm just gonna say I think it'd be pretty cool to be Spider Man. So I'll just do Spider Man as my third choice
Yeah.
because I think if there's I love asking people a question. At what interval of time is it appropriate to see if you have superpowers? And I always do that, right? I always, right? You catch a bottle. It's
Do you
but
have
you
it?
know, so no. So yeah, I think. Speaking of which, what is the appropriate interval? Haven't I asked you this on an episode?
No, I don't think
No.
so.
Well, what do you think is the appropriate interval of time?
Do you check if you have
Yeah.
superpowers?
Yeah.
Define that more.
Well, just maybe today's the day.
Like today's the day.
Right?
Yeah.
And you just kind of give the little
I mean, I think I've read about like people jumping off buildings thinking they've cracked the code, but
no,
they've been
that's-
on crack.
yeah.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
I like the way you put that.
yeah, that's what I felt about. And we'll mention like the writer again later on, but I was watching his explanation for that meteor that shows up in this movie.
What do you say?
So it's not it's not like science backed. It is a fictional thing that he created. He says it's called MOGO, which is massive omnivorous geodesic organism. I think
Okay.
that's the right full form.
So a rock that eats people?
Yeah, yeah, pretty, bro. When I saw his explanation, I think it's at a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy does drugs, right? He's like, well, we don't want superheroes to come from space because that's stupid, right? I'm like, we don't want superpowers to come from the government. He's like, that's also stupid. I'm like,
Fair.
okay, you just use like pretty much where all the superheroes have kind of come from, either a project or an experiment gone bad, or from outer space.
Well, technically, a meteor is from space.
Right.
Oh, but was this not a meteor?
No,
it was
this-
just it lived in the Earth.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the logic is that, and kind of fine, and honestly, I would buy it, but just the way he described it felt really. Maybe it was just too animated for me, but he was like, well, before the Earth was the Earth and it was all lava, there used to be these organisms that used to float around on the surface of the Earth on the lava using magnetic fields. And I was like, I want to buy what he's having. Then he's like, then these solid creatures who were just made out of rocks would essentially, would essentially just go around.
Whoever did that sucks at it.
It was your telekinesis.
Yeah, exactly.
So essentially these rocks basically just eat protein from their surrounding environment, because it's like minerals and all that are present in Earth itself that has like lava on it. And that's where he already lost me.
So where does the telekinesis come in?
So essentially, the way the rock survives also is eating flesh.
Okay.
Right. And so what it's doing is whenever it gets into contact, it goes to the surface of the earth, because they've been around for so long, and then, everything solidified and everything grew.
Sure.
So they create these burrows to the surface of the earth,
Okay.
and then they find living organisms and use that high pitched noise that it makes when they're like
draw
standing
'em
on
in.
top to draw them in.
Okay.
And then it makes them it's drone basically that go out and hunt food and bring it back so he can eat. And the whole idea is like this MOGO was really old and kind of dying. So while it was transitioning these three teenagers into its drones, it dies off. And that's why when they come back, the whole thing is like covered.
No way. Oh, that's so
And so
cool.
it just ends up giving them telekinesis.
I now I want to see another movie where one succeeds at doing that, and
So-
it turns them, and you slowly see the evolution of their characters into these, like, because one of the questions that I had, and I would have imagined this come later in the film, but um, when I first watched this, and I've seen it a number of times now, but the evolution of Andrew turning into just like
Mm-hmm.
psychopath and apex predator, it always made sense to me. The evolution, a troubled kid, he doesn't really have friends, he's got some of these isolated, and I don't want to say sociopathic tendencies, but when he pushes the guy off the road and it doesn't really bother him
Mm-hmm.
as much, and so there's some of this, but when I watched it this time, I had a little bit of issue with he was doing so well. He was doing the best he ever
Yeah.
was in his life. And then I get that this thing happens at the party, but the very next scene is him fucking with the spider and pulling his legs off.
Yeah, that's the biggest sign of being a psychopath, right?
I
Animal
yeah,
abuse, that's how it starts. Like
it,
young kids, oh, I wanted to, put a
very
metal
much so.
prong in the frog.
I felt like that decision for the movie to give insight to his character was a good one, but I felt like the point that it happened it didn't necessarily make sense to me. I didn't understand how like that should have happened maybe after another scene of his dad beating him, right? It
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be I fucked up at the party, but things were still really good. But I don't understand how he then goes back home and now he wants to kill things
Yeah.
like but maybe it was that final straw where he's like I am there is now no hope for me in society, I'm isolated from people, and so he at that moment time breaks in him, and so he becomes his own thing. But um with what you said about the organism turning them into having this impact on them, it makes a little bit more sense towards his evolution as a character. But if you say he dies, also I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was just going on for a minute, but it
Yeah.
made me think of another thing.
Yeah.
So
Go for it.
I had very few problems with this movie.
Okay.
But speaking on this one made me think of another one, which was I thought something they did really well.
Yeah.
Bad news sandwich. I thought something they did really
Here it
well
comes.
was they did a number of things really well, including like developing their powers. I'll get back there. But they established certain exposition incredibly well. I felt the way Steve came into the movie, like they introduced him as a character and
Mm-hmm.
the class president and all that, but then he comes by and checks on Andrew outside of the party. Hey, you okay?
Yeah.
Say,
Superheroes don't cry.
superheroes don't cry. I loved his line. It was there's like a ton of girls in there, right? And you're
Yeah.
sitting out here alone by a tree. I thought that was a great line. But I thought they introduced him really well. And then he's on they're playing with their powers for a little bit of time. We don't really know how much. And then he's on his phone with his girlfriend, and the girlfriend's yelling at him. She's like, you've been hanging out with them every day for the last 3 weeks. And so they just introduced timeline at a point where
Mm-hmm.
timeline was kind of needed. We need to know, okay, how long have they been working on their
Yeah.
powers? They've obviously gotten better with them. And so I thought they did those things really well. But right after that scene, I made a note. I'm like, great introduction of the timeline, very natural.
Yeah.
But then the next scene, they go back to the hole, and the hole is collapsed,
Yeah.
and the police are there. And the police just so happen to show up 3 weeks after.
They didn't really mention about like what that hole is,
Mhm.
and it was later on when people question, I'm like, oh, what that is. And that's why I felt like, oh, maybe that wasn't the core motive of the writer or the director to show in that stage of being like, yeah, how effective do you think this is?
Yeah, but you know what? He could have done a better job about like um showing it in different places throughout the movie at a like a continued investigation, like occasionally there's a TV in the corner of a store, or, maybe when they're at the diner they have a TV there, and or they overhear another table talking about it, or he's going through the hallway at school and there's a conversation happening on the staircase, and it's just like a continuously developing story and just like bits of information,
Yeah.
like on a bit more discovery at each stage. I think like there are certain films, especially like disaster films do this really really
Mm-hmm.
well. Like they'll get into a car and the radio's playing, but then you see the kid, so they turn the radio off after 3 seconds
Mm-hmm.
to keep the kid protected to it. But it gives you as the viewer enough understanding in the development of what's happening in the background, so they don't really have to like really dedicate a ton of screen time to it. They can fit it amongst the other scenes. And I think you're right. I think the whole time I'm watching it was like, what happened in the hole? How'd they get out of it? What was the hole? I thought it was a meteor. The director had a very different intention about it, and actually I think a really clever one. So
Yeah,
they probably could have done more with that.
true. And uh, that's something what you mentioned also about the similarity of what's that movie you mentioned, World War Z,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that is by far my favorite zombie movie as well.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking good.
Because I think
Have you
it
seen Train to Busan?
uh, no, no, not
Oh,
yet.
you might have a new favorite zombie
Favorite
movie.
zombie
Go on,
movie.
go on.
But I just like how well that movie is paced.
Yeah.
Right, there's not a lot of what do you call it. There's no time wasted. There's no
Mm-hmm.
unnecessary exposition. But like you mentioned, at the same time, you feel that they've given the right amount of information to connect the dots for you. And just the pace that the movie moves, just like this one, where it's like super quick, right? There's no dull time. And that's something I realized when we did Oceans last week. Whereas, like, when you don't have a dull time and then the story just kind of keeps unfolding
Mm-hmm.
forward, or not necessarily has to be like a linear path, but just something's happening and you are never like this movie. I didn't really feel a point where I was disconnected with the story, or I was like, okay, now I'm thinking about something else. I was pretty well engulfed in it and kept in it.
And engaged. I think you're right. I have never connected with the mother. I think they
Yeah,
don't develop her character
yeah.
well. Enough so that it gives context to the general, dynamic at home.
Hmm.
But we should know what she's sick with. We should have. Uh, there could have been they could have showed a video of him, with his mother as a kid, when he's
Yeah.
watching videos on his computer, like connect us to her a little bit more. And they had to pull away from the story, and all the times they did was to show her, and I just never liked watching her. I never, in any of the times I've watched this movie,
Yeah.
never felt like I was always kind of annoyed when it was back on her. I was
Yeah.
just like, why are we here?
I imagine because this movie on Hulu has a extended director's cut,
Hmm.
and director's cut usually has like a few extra shots or a few extra segments that really help us kind of understand the movie more. And it's kind of those like specific
Mm-hmm.
scenes that, oh, like this didn't really make sense when I saw it, but then you'll watch the director cut and you'll have like 3 more seconds or like a little bit of more of a conversation between them, and then you're like, okay, now it kind of like wraps
Fits
around.
in with. I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
I wish I had known that, but beforehand.
yeah.
So, what did you feel? So there were a number of things that I think they did really well. One of which was establishing Andrew as just like the strongest from the very start.
Mm-hmm.
In the ways that he was better than them with his powers. But I thought they had really creative usages and displays for their power. I felt like the natural progression of their strength was really good, but the ways they used their power were creative. So my question for you is, what was your favorite scene where they were kind of like learning the things they could do with their powers and playing around with them and
Ooh.
kind of just being kids?
So my favorite scene is probably gonna be when they start flying, right? And it's like they come to meet Steve, but Steve is like not right there, and he's like up in the air,
Yeah.
going around. And I think that's yeah. Also, that whole flying sequence and all the flying they've done in this movie, it's all green screen.
Uh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I just You know why I hate flying? You know why I hate
You don't want to fly?
no, but even the Avengers don't do a great job of it. It's just it's impossible to not see them wearing a harness. You know, this movie does a
Yeah,
pretty good job. You don't see the harness, but the way their body hangs, it's like it's so clear that they're wearing,
yeah.
a harness. And even at the very end of the movie, and and so when they're flying, it's just they're like so rigid and like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, they do a pretty good job at hiding it, but I don't know. It's just it always bothers me a little bit. But fun scene. Then they're playing with the football, and
Yeah.
and then the plane comes out of nowhere, and then he catches Steve and the camera. And
Did you have like a favorite prank that they did?
I always loved the teddy bear just
Teddy
because
bear.
like I remember seeing it in the trailers
Mm-hmm.
when the movie was being advertised before I saw it for the first time, and I remember that teddy bear scene in the trailer made me want to see the movie,
Mm.
and so whenever I see it, it's just like such a jovial 3 minutes, and it comes right in the middle. I just think it's great. Um, I thought I think the Lego scene
Mm.
is so cool.
Yeah,
Just
100%.
fuck it. And he just builds it in. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, So this is a question I had because I never knew the term uh, found footage film until you told me that term.
Mm-hmm.
And I think compared to like a lot of other found footage films that I've seen, this one actually does a pretty decent job. What do you feel about like just the concept of like found footage film? Do you like enjoy?
I love it if it's done well. And honestly, like, I mean, I can't really think. There's four that come to mind. There's Paranormal Activity.
Mm-hmm.
There's Cloverfield.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Blair Witch Project. There's this. Um, I'm sure there's a couple more. I'd actually like to look up a list, but those are
Yeah.
some of my favorite movies, and all because they're what hardcore Henry wants to be, which is do something unique with the way that we tell the story, and the actual term found footage. One of the things that I think is really interesting about these films when they're done right is it's found footage, right? So theoretically, they come across this camera and then we see, and now we're being told the story because the story was found and it's now being released to us. And so that means that it's not all just about the story. It's allowed to have these little seemingly innocuous scenes in them because that's what would belong on someone's camera. They
Yeah.
don't just shoot the intense dramatic dialogues or the intense fight scenes. They have a lot of this little stuff in between. And that's something that like a regular film just doesn't have because a regular film is just so focused on the story and every single dialogue is so valuable. And the intention to have innocuous scenes in these are specific decisions, and that screen time is valuable as well, but it's valuable for a different reason. They're doing something different with that time, and so I love the concept of a found footage film. And if it's a found footage film that's done right, and then even more so, it's playing on an apocalypse like Cloverfield, or it's playing with superpowers like
Yeah.
this. I mean, just fucking give me more of that. Paranormal Activity was a great
Right.
thriller, and I saw it again. When was the last time you watched it?
It's been some time. Yeah.
I'll fucking watch it again because it freaked the shit out of me watching it
Yeah.
again. I watched it like a year and a half ago. I get like 30, 40 minutes in. I had to turn on a light.
Yeah.
It was one of those movies where I start getting uncomfortable
Yeah.
about what's behind or under my bed, and I like pull my legs a little closer. I stop dangling my toes off the bed. I'm tall. And
But I better
yeah.
sit on a chair. I do the shaky shake.
No, fuck that shit. Yeah, so I really like it. So what about you? What's your take on found
Uh,
footage?
I think it's a really cool concept because it really allows you to zoom in the whole experience and makes the whole movie on its own a lot more immersive,
Hmm.
right? Compared to like having like your cameras and your shots kind of just having yourself involved with the characters,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Minus watching him sleep. I
Of
think it
course.
was pretty cool to like have the camera around when they're like flying, doing really cool shit. So yeah, I'm all for it. But again, yeah, you're right. When it's done well, and I think you can't do multiple parts of the same kind of idea. Like Paranormal Activity, I still remember like watching the first part, which is all shot on like a handheld camera,
Mm-hmm.
like a video camera, compared to like when they got more money and then had like a full on budget and kind of tried to create the same effect.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think what
yeah.
makes a really good found film footage is the low budget of it looking like a little bit
Or
scrappy.
looking low budget at
Yeah,
least. Yeah.
that's something I think the director definitely did in this movie. Is like the cameras they used were not like really professional film cameras,
Mm-hmm.
but instead were just like, okay, anybody can go to a store and spend a couple of $1,000 and just like buy one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And so when it opens up, because it the first time I saw this movie was probably when I was like 16, and
Yeah, 2012. Yeah, yeah,
right,
sure.
and then I saw it on TV, and then going from there to like seeing it now, I was like really kind of hyped about. Oh, it opens up and he's like, with the camera,
Mm.
and then immediately jumps into, oh, he's got an abusive father because he's
Yeah,
knocking at the
yeah, yeah,
door,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
the dad comes back later to smack him in the head,
Yeah,
and so it's like, okay, he's gotten this camera, is he gotten it just to record everything because he's so in a need for like a filter from the outside world,
that's part of it. Yeah,
right? Or he's just trying to make sure his dad doesn't just beat the hell out of him, so
that's
he's trying to
also
have
part of it.
evidence, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was pretty impressed, man. How much do you think the movie cost?
So I want to ask you because I'm sure you know this. And I think Paranormal Activity had a crazy small budget. It
Mm-hmm.
was like $26,000 or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it was this one. I think this had a much better budget
Mm-hmm.
because I mean it had a lot of people in it. It had a lot of CGI.
Yeah.
It had Michael B. Jordan, albeit before he was as big of a name as he's become, but I felt like it had good casting, and I felt like just all components of it. I felt the writing was really good. I felt the directing and the production was really good. I even felt like the CGI was pretty fucking good considering. So I want to say it had a pretty good backing. I think it had a pretty good budget. Number is it under 20 million?
Yeah.
I don't know, 11 or 12.
11 or 12. Great. You
Yeah,
hit 12 million.
yeah, 12 million.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was. It's a proper studio film, which is
yeah,
what I think it's like really cool. And I think I mentioned on the podcast multiple times where it's like, this is what studios need to be doing,
yeah,
because you just spend like 15, 20 million, kind of just put it out there, get somebody to come and make their movie,
mm-hmm.
and it might work, it might not. And initially, when they made this movie, they didn't really expect it to do so well. Uh,
That's surprising.
yeah,
Well, I mean, found footage, okay.
right.
Why? Was there more commentary that you had on that?
Uh,
Because to me, this is the exact movie that I'm like, fucking sign me up. I want to watch it immediately. I'll pay for
so
the theater and
I think the first thing was it was like the guy who made this, the director. It was kind of like close to his debut. Like I think he was like 26 years old by the time this came out. Um,
that's impressive.
I think I have the name here. Uh, Josh Trank.
Trank, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Max Landis is the writer. And I'll get into a rant about these two as well. But yeah, it's like by Fox Studios, 20th Century, I think.
And Dimension Films.
Dimension Films. That might have been the
Oh no, that's
distributor.
1408. Sorry, no,
Yeah,
go on.
yeah, and but the whole idea was like, okay, we'll give these guys the money to go make this project, and then they do go out and make this project, and they're like, this is not gonna do well. So
Yeah.
we might not even. Often, what happens is they're like, we're not even gonna release it to the public,
Wow,
right?
to spend that much money and not even release the
Man, it happens
product.
so much, and you know what happens?
Why? What's the benefit of that? I guess it's not a failed project under their name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And sometimes it's also out of spite, man. It's like some executive producer of that studio gets pissed off with this guy because of creative differences.
Yeah.
What they
Says fuck you, fuck your project.
right is like, yeah. And oftentimes, what will happen is like, say you've been working on this movie for 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and now there's a new executive who's walked into the studio
Mm-hmm.
and who's running things. What he's gonna do is his first thing he kind of does is just closes off all the projects that are currently going.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much an okay, yeah, bye bye. You had a job, now you don't. Good day.
Get fucked.
This movie's gone. And then sometimes what kind of happened with Deadpool also, right? It's like they had the idea, but they were like, okay, we shot this intro scene, and this is just gonna kind of go in the vault
Mm-hmm.
and just stay there.
Yeah.
And then somebody leaked it out to the public, and that's
What was
kind of
Ryan Reynolds? Didn't he tried to
allegedly,
like
yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah.
him who's like,
Yeah.
but nobody knows for a
Yeah.
fact, but it was like pretty sure he did it because it was kind of his baby project. But for this movie also, what they do is like they do like a small audience screening. And I found this through
Mm-hmm.
Big Bang Theory actually, where they just go on the street and hand out flyers and like, hey, we're showing this movie, and it's like a small neighborhood in Connecticut,
Yeah, no shit, eh?
right? And it's like 150 people,
Yeah.
maybe max, and they'll come and like watch a movie, and then they'll kind of do like a what's the word? It's like a research word, uh, field grip or
Oh, yeah. I figured that's what you were talking about.
yeah.
Uh, and when I thought this is where you were going with
Yeah.
it, I was trying to find the word
Word.
to or the term.
That's fine. The term's
Sure.
not too important. Group
Yeah.
study, I guess.
Yeah.
And well, it did really well.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they were like, okay, yeah, we're going to launch this. And then it was number one on the charts.
Was it really?
It made 121 plus
Love to see
million
it.
dollars,
10x. Let's go.
right? Which is like pretty much a big like win for director and writer. Uh, and what's even crazier is both director and writer, maybe not the director, wanted to make what do you call it, like a third movie.
For Chronicle?
Yeah, a second and a third, and
And they didn't greenlight the project?
no, because both director and writer walked away for because of like creative
Oh
differences.
no.
Yeah,
Well, that's fucking lame.
yeah,
Hate that.
it was totally like unwarranted, super annoying. And what's really mind-boggling was, you know how you mentioned that I wanted a little bit more backstory to who these creatures were. Apparently, the writer for this had an idea that in the third part of Chronicle, we're gonna have what do you call it? We're gonna have a new MOGO that shows up, and he's like younger.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and then it's like one character from the guy who survives, he's gonna be the one who kind of like goes and fights because the new one that shows up kind of takes over the whole city.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like, imagine a whole horde of flying zombies
Yeah, sick.
because they
That'd
all
be
become
pretty cool.
drones.
It also
Yeah,
might be a little over the top. This one says that Chronicle 2 might be a thing that got greenlit for a all female led, but most of these articles are a couple years. Do you know about that? And then they got canceled. They got canned.
Yeah, I
It was
just know
supposed
that
to be a
that,
10-year
that
anniversary.
even this movie had a lot of like controversies of like coming to the big screens.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't imagine. Also, I don't want to see a second or third
No,
part.
nor do I. I'd like to see another. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, another same universe. I don't. That's something that. Well, same universe doesn't always go well. That happened with A Quiet Place 3. Um, but movies don't always need a sequel. I
Mm-hmm.
like movies, and that's why but same universe. Like I don't want to get rid of a whole universe just because the self-contained story doesn't need a follow-up.
Yeah.
Avatar had Korra, and that did a really good job expanding on the universe. You had 28 days, 28 weeks, and 28 years later.
Yeah.
That does a pretty good job playing into the same universe and being able to. And so a universe where maybe Mogos give people different powers.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
then you
what
just have
about?
the darkest minds, but with adult, like a little bit
Stop it.
older.
Don't get me started.
Right. But I do agree. I think so. Honestly, for the most part, I'm not a big fan of spin offs. I think the first time when the idea is there and it's fresh and it's new, it's good. And eventually, spin offs always run into the ground.
They don't do great.
Right.
They don't always do bad. You saw Gen V?
Yeah. But,
It's
but,
not as good,
but
but
yeah,
I
but
loved
it's,
having more of it,
yeah.
and it's just fine.
But I think I'm not a fan of that for two reasons. One, obviously, when the boys started, because they started as like a diss to pretty much the world in that
Yeah,
current situation.
yeah.
They were pretty vocal about we're not gonna have any more. We're not gonna have spin-offs for this show because we don't want to be a show that is just like, oh, we're capitalistic by a studio. And then they eventually ended up coming out with Gen V, and now they're coming out with a whole new series on like Soldier Boy's history. And
What?
I don't want to see that. It's
No.
like The Walking Dead, when they came out with the
Who
first show.
greenlit that bullshit?
Well, because it's making money, right? It's like people
Yeah.
will watch. Because if you have a solid, reliable IP, then you can just kind of keep milking the hell out of it. What is that?
That's Soldier Boy.
Uh,
Superman.
maybe that's the whole show, man. Yeah.
But I don't know. Because for me, there's a certain tolerance for a spinoff, which is I know they can't do the original, but I'm okay with just more of this because I
Yeah.
just love it so much.
If you can explore the universe they're in more, but not use the story and connect it necessarily,
Yeah, it's got to be
right?
different, and it's got to take place at a different. Sorry to cut you off,
Yeah.
but a different time period.
Yeah, exactly. Like one of my things I'm not looking forward to is, and I think I'm still gonna watch it because I just love Harry Potter so much. But the new HBO series that they're making is apparently the same story all over again with different actors. And so it's
Don't
like
do that.
you have the
Don't
opportunity
do
to show
that.
like a world of like when Lily and James were younger. You have Tom Riddle's story, which is super awesome, and how he went and created the Horcrux.
Yeah.
There, like, you have such an expansive universe. Like, that's why I love what Hobbit does, right? And maybe because they had somebody who did write it, and that's why it became like a lot better when it came to like delivering the universe. But just the idea, like, oh, instead of just kind of giving the same repetition to people and thinking, oh, these people are like goofballs, they're just gonna I watch it and we're gonna make our money with our subscriptions,
Mm,
which usually is what happens, right? We still go and watch it because of the nostalgia
we
impact of
do.
it,
Yeah.
but it really gives them a scapegoat of like, okay, we don't really have to work twice the hard enough that we did the first time, because
We already have an audience.
yeah, we've got an
Yeah,
audience.
we've
Even
already
if
got
like
guaranteed
fifty
viewership.
percent of them subscribe to this to watch the second season of like Lord of the Rings, sure, we've made our money back.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because I'm racking my head now, and as I think about it, like most spin-offs just don't do that good. I think most spin-offs don't do that good because we go back wanting the original story and it's not the
Yeah.
original story, and so we don't get that. I think Avatar was able to do really well with um it wasn't it was a spin-off, but it was also a continuation. We got to watch the same kind of story because it
Mm-hmm.
is an Avatar lives a life cycle, and so they built kind of a new world and everything, but around the same type of story and the same type of character dynamics. And but like Game of Thrones didn't do great with its spin-off.
Yeah.
um Hobbit, did you think Hobbit was as good as
Lord of the Rings,
Lord of the Rings? I
N-
have to go back and watch Hobbit because,
not as good as Lord of the Rings,
but still.
but as a separate project on its own, it was significantly better than other projects that were being made in that time.
Yeah, okay,
A-
I'll go back and watch it.
and the efficacy that they've told the story, and just like constantly all three parts. And I think a big role of that is they have one character. Actually, no, two. You have Gandalf,
Mm-hmm.
and you learn a lot more about Gandalf because in Lord of the Rings you meet this guy Gandalf, then he kind of leads the people, then he dies, and then he becomes Gandalf the Great, the Gandalf the
Mm.
White.
Mm-hmm.
In The Hobbit, he's not all that powerful yet.
Mm.
And as they're giving you more information about the ring and everything, you kind of are getting more attachment to this character that you already love.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Legolas, who's also there.
Mm.
So you have two characters only who kind of link what you love to what this is, but they're not there the whole time. The story is not revolved around them. The story kind of is still again about the kind of the rise of the orcs and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
so just naturally on its own, it's like, yeah, this is fun to watch.
Mm.
And it really expands because they have the last part, for sorry for spoilers, is called like the Battle of the Five Armies,
Mm.
which is kind of referenced a lot in
Wasn't
Lord
it
of
the
the Rings.
Battle of the Three Armies?
No, it's five. It's like humans, hobbits.
No, in the third Lord of the Rings movie, wasn't it the Battle of the
No,
Three Armies?
no, that's a king's something.
Wait, hold on. What's
Battle of the Five Armies is
is
the last part
Desolation
of
of
Habit.
Smog the Hobbit series?
Yeah, yeah. Desolation of Smog is the first Hobbit. No, that's the second Hobbit movie.
Second.
Yeah,
What happens in the first one?
the first one is when they reach the castle.
Yeah. Okay, so I
Right.
saw these a few years ago. They were great movies. You're
So
right. I
fun.
fucking loved them.
Yeah.
I actually, oh yeah, okay, and no, what's the guy who plays Frodo? His name.
Bilbo Baggins. No,
No.
no, that's different. Uh,
Every fan out there hates you
I
right now.
know.
Elijah Wood.
Elijah.
Elijah Wood. Yeah, and he was the Lord of the Rings. So I enjoyed, I think, Hobbit more than the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, because I always forget his name. I always confuse him as Jason Bateman, but
It's definitely not Jason
yeah,
Bateman.
the guy who plays Bilbo
Aragorn.
Baggins.
Oh.
He's the one who plays Sherlock Holmes' assistant, like Doctor
Oh, you're right.
Watson.
It is him. It
Doctor
is him.
Watson,
But
yeah.
this one he's so short.
It's movie magic.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You're right. It is totally the same fucking actor. I never pegged him. And it's funny because he reminds me of Simon Pegg. I was thinking Simon Pegg while I said that. Huh.
Yeah. But
Okay.
it's like when you have directors, and I think that's also something I've never looked into this until recently, which is we're used to going and watching a movie and then kind of making our opinions off it. But for a lot of these people who are making these movies, it's a continuous grind that have kind of gotten them to this point where they're like, hey, I'm credible enough where you give me 12 million and I'll make a movie for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what really is funny and also annoying at the same time is these guys were given 12 million. They made a fantastic movie together, right? I'll go back to the names: Josh Trank and Max Landis.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing you find out when you Google Max Landis is his dad, John Landis, who's also apparently, I think, supposed to be like a screenplay writer, and it's really weird where like nepotism kind of just like seeps in, and it's like, come on, man, like give him his own identity instead of just like his dad being there.
Mm.
But the fact that after doing this movie, every other project these guys have done has been absolutely, and I know I come off as a hater and somebody who doesn't appreciate, like, good things in life and everybody's effort, but yeah, I don't.
Tell me, what are some of them?
Fantastic Four reboot
No.
that happened with,
Were they together? They did it as a duo. These guys. These
not
guys were
as a
together?
duo, but it was Josh Trank was the one who did Fantastic Four
Mm.
reboot, which I don't know if you've been a Fantastic Four fan, but
No, because they all suck.
I think
The
there was
original
Silver
was.
Surfer in the previous one, and I think the new one are
I've
pretty
really only
cool.
seen the first. I've only seen the first.
The first, I think
Because I heard all the rest of them sucked.
I like the first and the second one when they made with Chris Evans as the Human Torch.
That was the. Is that the second one?
First and second. So it was the first two were continuations, and then they came out with the reboot,
Mm.
which this guy did, and I was really happy because otherwise he would have gotten Spider-Man: Homecoming,
Oh.
and if you're doing that, that would have been really bad for Marvel.
Would have been really bad for Tom Holland. Poor Tom Holland. I
Right.
love Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
Exactly. And it's like you see both what's his name? Michael B. Jordan and uh, Dane DeHaan kind of got like a boost into their acting careers.
Who's that? That's Andrew.
That's Andrew,
Yeah.
right? Because he then went on and did Amazing Spider-Man 2 as the Goblin with Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. The second Spider-Man was Jamie Foxx was the
There are two villains.
villain.
Remember, he's Harry Osborn's son. Yeah, no, he's
I
Harry
don't.
Osborn.
I don't remember that, but
Yeah,
that's because I watched that movie maybe once or twice.
yeah.
It
And
just
one of the
wasn't very
reasons
good.
I was excited to watch Amazing Spider-Man 2 was because I loved Chronicle when I saw it the first time. And I was like, oh, this is going to be sick because he's in there, right?
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
No shit. I just loved Andrew Garfield from the first one.
Yeah,
I liked him more than Tobey Maguire, and I liked Tom Holland more than both of them.
both of them.
He was a perfect combination of their two personalities, I think.
Tom Holland or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield was too cool. And
Yeah, he was too cool to be like, yeah. Oh, also, I think me and Sal were talking about this during Homecoming, where it was like Andrew Garfield was, you never see him win as Peter Parker,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, he's always stressed, man.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of don't want to be a superhero. Uh,
So what were the other movies they did?
uh, this guy did another movie called Capone with Tom Hardy,
Oh yeah.
right? Uh,
Wasn't good.
it was bad, man. Like,
Tom Hardy plays a good gangster.
yeah, it was bad. It was like 40% critics and 24% audience
Yikes.
on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's like that's just like bad. And just realizing the fact that this guy did, because I've only seen the Fantastic Four reboot, and man, it's not a nice time,
No, I
not
mean,
at all.
I haven't watched it because that's what I've heard. You know what though? So what about the other guy?
He did this
Landis.
movie that I also saw recently that he wrote for. It's called American Ultra.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? I watched this again a couple months ago. No, it was a terrible movie, but
Yeah.
I gotta love Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart as a duo.
Yeah, but Kristen Stewart's was. I've never been a huge fan of Kristen Stewart. Like she was okay in what do you call it,
Twilight.
Twilight, but beyond that, she's just always kind of been what do you call it?
Kristen Stewart.
No, just innately gay to play straight roles.
Well, she's being Kristen Stewart.
No, but when you see her like when she finally came out and started acting,
Is she
yeah,
gay?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's been like for a long time. She came out a long time ago,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
and it's like because I watched American Ultra recently, and I only saw it because I saw like the promo on Netflix, the few snippets you
Yeah,
get,
yeah, yeah, sure.
and it's like, oh, it's Jesse Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart, nice FBI sleeper agent
Sleeper
movie,
Agent. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But
Great. I mean, yeah, fucking sign me up.
right, and on its own, it's like okay, it's like a nice 1.5 hour, and I'm so in for movies like those being made.
Sure.
But man, the writing in that movie is just
Yeah.
off.
What about the writers? What do you know what the writers of this movie did? Because I really liked the writing of this movie. I thought the writing
Yeah.
was great.
So it is Max Landis is the writer.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. I actually had a different opinion on the writing.
Really? I thought there were so many good lines in this movie.
I think it was really cheesy.
I like cheesy.
Yeah, you're a cheesy boy.
I like cheesy
Yeah,
sometimes.
you like all the stinky cheese.
I do like stinky cheese. Blue cheese. Oh man, I had some of the best blue cheese of my life on my trip. Anyway,
Yeah.
so good.
But that is my main thing was like the dialogue. Given that a lot of the dialogues were improvised, like the director kind of just gave freedom to the actors to kind of just like
Yeah, I
talk
saw
amongst
your note about
yourself
that.
and realize. But I know you like that dialogue where it's like, why are you crying? Like, there are chicks inside, and you're sitting here by a tree. I was like,
You didn't like that
no,
line?
not
That's
at
my
all.
favorite line of the movie. He dives into the hole. Oh shit, he's a ninja. This is my street. Those are
Yeah.
the official douchebags of my street.
Yeah.
Like all
No.
of those. Those are
Yeah.
those fucking had me
Yeah.
laughing. I thought those were great.
Yeah. And those are, I think, some things I picked on a lot more when I saw it this time. Yeah, because I've not seen it in between all these years, and then I saw it after all these years, and I was like really trying to pick on the things that I liked and didn't like, obviously, for the pod.
Who are you, me?
But I'm not crazy. But yeah, and so I was really surprised that these two people who did so well would then go on to just have a failure after failure after failure. But this movie gave them the credibility because the next movie, like the reboot for Fantastic Four, because I think Fox still had the rights to it, $120 million budget.
Fuck. What was that? It was fantastic. Oh, and Capone. Yeah, that kind of kills the position I was going to take. Well, that's a shame. I mean, that happens, right? That
Yeah,
happens.
that's
I
pretty
would say.
common.
I would say what's probably a better way to look at them as opposed to people who really capable directors who ended up making a lot of shitty products. It's probably shitty directors who struck gold once, and they struck gold with a really good concept and a
Yeah.
unique type of film, which is found footage, and one that there just aren't a ton made of. One that has a total cult following. The people who like this film fucking love this type of film.
Yeah.
So it is kind of a recipe for success in its own light. I want to go back to that point that you said about because I saw your note about it and you mentioned it there about he gave a lot of freedom to the actors to kind of like riff when they were doing some more of their teenage scenes, and I thought credit to them because I felt like they were really believable as teenagers.
Yeah.
One of the problems I always have with movies and shows with teenagers is the teenagers are always 20 fucking 6, right? And
Yeah.
they look like they're
Like I
26.
pay my taxes
And
when I go to high school.
these guys did too. But the dialogue and the behavior was
Mm-hmm.
very much like it, and like the pranks and the stunts they're pulling, like it felt realistic for,
Right,
you know.
typical high school, like senior year almost.
Yeah,
Right.
totally. Like I thought that was pretty well done.
Yeah. Uh, so the reason I brought up like that whole director and writer mix and how they've like not successfully done any movies after that.
Hmm.
The main idea was obviously not to just like shit on somebody's work because they're doing something I cannot even imagine or comprehend on how to
Don't
do.
waste $120 million
Right.
on a shitty Fantastic Four
Right.
reboot.
But my question was gonna be like, did they just get lucky with this project, or they've just been unlucky with everything else, or they just suck?
No, I think it goes. I think it goes to what I said was. I think they probably. It's probably more likely that they got. I don't want to say lucky, but they performed out of the norm with this one
Mm-hmm.
than in the norm with their other
Sure.
productions, which just didn't do that well. I one of the thoughts that I had was maybe they had to perform more succinctly or with more consideration when they weren't operating with such a large budget.
Yeah.
I think maybe when you have a really large budget, it gives you more of an ability to hire different people, so you're allowing decisions to be made by different departments,
Mm-hmm.
different people. You're relinquishing certain control about your project. You become over reliant on cast. On cast being good, you become over reliant on your CGI, and so you don't have to put as much heart and really carefully curated decision because you have less to work with.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely a part of it. I also don't know enough of what goes into being a director, and I haven't seen the other two movies, so I don't have a personal opinion on them. So I'm not just going to say they suck as directors,
Yeah.
because the one movie of theirs that I have really seen, or one of the two I have seen, which is Chronicle, I fucking loved, and
Mhm.
American Ultra, I didn't think was great, but I enjoyed watching it. I'm happy I
Mhm.
saw it. I didn't think it was a very good movie. I don't think many who would watch it would consider it a very good movie. I primarily just enjoyed it because of Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart. And
Yeah.
actually, I felt like a lot of the decisions made throughout the course of that movie were really, really bad ones. Anyway, so yeah, I think they probably got more out of the norm with this than the other three,
Yeah.
to your question.
That's a good approach. A much nicer approach. Because I do feel like they did a really good job with managing such a low budget and not really like feeling like, oh, this felt like short. Like they went to South Africa to shoot the movie.
Really?
Yeah. And so
Oh, the city scenes were in like
it's supposed to be like Seattle. And so you know that scene where it's just what's his name? Just Steve and Andrew.
sitting on the high rise, and they've got the Space
Yeah.
Needle in the background.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all like a fake ledge and then green screen
Oh yeah,
background
sure,
and the
totally,
whole all of
totally
Seattle,
fucking looked like it.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
And so it's like things like those they made like sets and in warehouses for
yeah.
like the house and things. So it was a lot of it was done to just like make a low budget as possible.
Hmm.
And it worked out. I think it's really smart because also just the VFX they've done, especially the final battle between him and Matt,
Mm-hmm.
Andrew and Matt. It's really nice because it does the perfect combination of actual like physical VFX and then adding like animation on top of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think 2012 being that era of being like, oh, this whole idea of like actually using like physical things, like okay, throw a car, man, don't just like put it in
Yeah, yeah,
post,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
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 flip a
yeah,
car.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
honestly, I know who's that guy, Michael Bay. he's really underrated. But man, when you look at Transformers, they do so much of like actual physical damage
Explosions
and
and
explosions, and then the team goes and sits down. Like, I'm excited to do that series as well for the pod. Obviously,
Which one?
the Transformers series, because
I watched the first one recently.
oh, so nice.
Love it.
Like that's. I
Shia
think that is
LaBeouf when he wasn't crazy, and Megan Fox.
and Megan. I think Megan Fox was the reason I was like I confirmed like I'm straight. Yeah.
Megan Fox in Transformers is a pretty good, I guess
Calling.
Kinsey test.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like a
I know what I
good
want.
filter. Yeah.
A Camaro.
Don't fucking do it.
Okay.
You're gonna do it.
First one back. It gotta be nice.
I really,
You know?
I couldn't enjoy it.
Gotta give you that false sense of
I should have done
security.
it. I should have fucking done it too.
I would have jumped over. I would have flashed you in my gown.
No, thank you. I've had to. Can I just say, by the way, he's wearing a hospital gown, and I got bare leg. This whole time, I got exposed thigh on my peripheral here, and it's not. It looks great if you're a woman, I'm sure, but you know.
One of us is hard, and it's not me. Okay, so we've spoken about what we feel about directors, this movie, kind of.
Yeah.
What do you think people felt about it? Rotten Tomato scores.
Oh, so Rotten Tomato scores, I cheated. I looked up immediately, and I regretted it because I realized I didn't give myself the opportunity to guess. But I was just very curious. You know what they are, I'm sure. So if I remember, it was 85-72. Yeah.
Yeah, 85 critics and 72 audience, which is surprising.
Yeah, actually, considering the spread, and I would have expected those numbers maybe flipped. Yeah.
And I think the only reason I can think of why the audience wouldn't give it as much of a credible score that the critics did was because it's like a found footage film.
Yeah, I think that contributes. I do think that contributes.
Right.
Sure.
Because, yeah, or maybe the movie was just a little bit ahead of its time. But I think I was super surprised to see that split. Because movies like this is exactly why I love watching movies. Because I imagine it was one of those movies where the critics were like, it's okay movie, not bad.
Yeah.
But the audience like, holy
I
shit,
fucking
man,
love it. Yeah, cult classic. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I find that split, and it's one of the reasons I use Rotten Tomatoes. I find when the critic score is higher than the audience score, it often indicates something that the mass audience won't like, and that more often than not is them killing one of the main characters. And I love when a movie kills one of the main characters.
Yeah.
And so I think that also probably contributed to it. It wasn't a happy ending. Right, and I think audience score is often higher and critic score is lower when it's a happy ending, and I find that gets flipped when it's not. So yeah, I think 85 though, you're right. It didn't occur to me at first, but 85 feels high for critic score. It does. I'm very okay with the score. But actually, that does feel high. I would think reversed. Yeah, 75, 80. You know.
But you make a good
72,
point
80.
about the ending. That like maybe it's like they kill the guy, but no, he kind of goes through the transition where you're like, okay, this guy is like, you feel sorry for him because he got a cancer mom, dad beats him up, and he's getting abused in school and getting beaten up by these thugs on his street. So his life really sucks, and you're kind of like on his side. But then he goes and splits open a spider, and you're like, this guy needs to die.
Yeah. Sometimes though, mosquitoes, you just wanna.
Play God.
No, I think honestly, maybe the fact that they kill Steve, hits people hard because it hits me hard.
Yeah.
And it just happens. It just kind of just.
Yeah.
And good job on the film.
Oh yeah.
But Oh, it does just kind of happen, and it's
Yeah.
so sad. You really want
Mm.
more of.
And
He's a
you kind
very
of see the.
lovable character.
It reminded me of watching The Circle, where you kind of see the flashes happening more and more consecutively, and the sound is dook 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 dook.
I forgot about that movie.
You got eliminated.
Speaking of Circle, I forget if I mentioned this when we did that episode. You saw the Tom Hanks Emma Watson Circle movie, The
The
Circle.
circle, the
It's
circle.
called The Circle. Yeah.
No, but every time I've tried to search up circle, that's the first one that shows up. I'm like, no, I want the other one.
You should watch that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Because we were talking about social network being relevant, and I was trying to think at the time, what's like a relevant AI movie that's not too on the nose or too like Terminator-ish.
Mm.
The Circle is probably next to like Ex Machina, and Ex Machina is probably too Terminator-ish. The Circle's probably as perfect as it gets. I mean, honestly, it's open AI.
Yeah.
The Circle is really just about open AI, but probably a few years down the road, less AI, but more so just like tech.
Okay.
I don't want
Okay.
to give too much away.
It's a good cast, like Tom Hanks and Emma
Watson.
Watts. Oh, Emma Watson.
Yeah,
Okay, nice.
not Emma Stone.
Even better.
Were you thinking Emma Stone?
No, I was
I
just
used to get them mixed up
confused.
all the
I
time.
had Emma Watson in my head,
Uh,
and then I said Emma Stone.
always a
No,
good thing
wait.
to have in your head.
Wait, it's Emma Watson.
Yes.
Hermione.
Yes.
Okay, no, I had Emma Stone in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's
Easy
Emma
A.
Watson. Okay, cool. I'll give it a shot. We can do
Yeah,
The Circle.
yeah.
It would be
It's good
fun
for
because we
tech.
did Circle and then we did The
And
Circle.
the Circle, yeah.
No matter what,
yeah.
whenever you search a circle, we show up.
And then the Square. Just do
Shapes.
shape related. Shape of water.
Shape of water.
I hated that fucking movie.
Hmm.
All right. Well, that's a conversation for
Uh,
another one.
Also, sorry to go ahead.
No, I had nothing.
The ending, they had like a different ending planned for the movie.
What was it gonna be?
Andrew survives and escapes to Tibet. But then the studio came in and was like, no, we need something a little bit more conclusive.
Survives the blast.
Mm-hmm. And it's like Matt kind of like takes him away and he doesn't go in that full rampage where he's like pushing all the cars and then Matt has to kill him.
Yeah, fuck that shit. This is better.
Yeah. Oh, so much better.
So much better. That's the direction the movie was taking. He was a fucking psycho.
Yeah. I think that was my favorite scene.
With the, I think about
so
outside of
often.
the with the yeah.
And it's
Just
like it's
Chatelain.
that and Magneto in Days of Future Past. He's standing and he's like turning the whole satellite.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
oh man, I fell in love with Michael Fassbender so quickly in that scene
Yeah.
because you see him do that and his emotions are just raw and he starts
Yeah,
crying and
right.
it's like
It's a wonderful,
Right.
wonderful scene. You
And
saw
I've-
the killer?
Hmm?
You saw him in the killer? Where's the
yeah, he's the
hitman?
like hit, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway.
But this scene I've enacted it like so many times. Sometimes just like those intrusive thoughts kind of thing. Like I'll be like, yeah,
It's the same
pretty
thing.
much like
Yeah.
I wish I could just like
Yeah.
like make this fall on this person.
And how about the imagery of him just fucking there,
Oh.
draped after? Great shot.
Right.
Well
And
done.
it goes in through into the ground. It was kind of like a Game of Thrones death, pretty much. Like a spear just goes in from the back and like just hanging.
But you know what bothered me is the when they're floating, because I mentioned it earlier with the harness, and I felt like this just didn't. It wasn't a good decision. So when they're outside of the Space Needle, and he takes all of the people from the restaurant, he takes their phone and he circles them, and they're like having that argument, and he's just like floating, moving kind of like this, and he's like almost as if he's in like a air machine and he's trying to get himself straight. It's like super powerful psycho apex predator dude wouldn't have been like that.
Yeah.
They were trying to give him this air of instability, but he would have been fucking firm and
Yeah.
confident and stable and
Yep.
unmoving. He wouldn't have been
Yeah.
right.
And there's like two points from that scene which really threw me off. One was when he gets those phones. One of them is like an iPad,
Yeah.
and it's like just in 2012, knowing how bad the quality of a camera of an iPad was,
Yeah.
right? And just imagining, yeah, people were literally like going crazy on like a 5 megapixel camera,
Yeah.
right? And being taking an iPad, one of the biggest things for like photography. Uh, and the second thing was right after that happens, the bus comes along, and he's like,
Oh.
but why does the bus have a horn? Who's inside the bus?
Well, there might have been someone inside the bus,
He
and they
wouldn't
might
be
have been trying to alert him. They probably would have been doing that sooner.
like, we're coming at you.
You're right. That's the type of thing that I would nitpick for days. It would just bother me.
Yeah, I just
I
laughed.
I loved the bus because I forgot the bus happened, and I just loved I love connecting back to 5 seconds before that and like 10 seconds before that, what's going through Andrew's mind, where he's like 10-15 seconds before that, he's conversing with Matt here, and he's picking a bus up off the ground to
Yeah.
hit him with it. And then as that scene continues, he then says, I'm an apex predator. It's like, what? I'm the apex. Boom. And I thought that was a great fucking scene.
Have you seen that ASDF movies of like I like trains? That's pretty
Yes,
much.
I don't remember exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about,
Yeah.
but I think I do.
Yeah,
I think I do.
I'll recommend it to people. Like, if you get a chance, just YouTube ASDF movies. You watch that. That's my childhood in a YouTube video. There's like 12 ASDF movies, I think. I've seen like 9, and then I think the other one are like those fan created uh, videos and episodes. But yeah, just summary of my childhood.
Yeah.
My
ASDF, I like
cousin
trains.
introduced them to me, and it's like that's the level my brain works.
I associate it with the I like turtles kid.
Hmm.
Do you know that one? I
No.
like turtles. No.
Just
Um,
random.
it's a news reporter, and they're at like a Halloween festival or something, and the kids got zombie face paint, and they're like, how do you like the festival? And I like turtles.
Is it on like a news?
Yeah,
Live?
yeah. It's
Oh
one of
man,
those.
I love live news. It's like the hilarious stuff ever because
Yeah.
people are like so unhinged about things. They're just like, yeah, I like turtles, dude. I remember this lady. She went to this guy and she asked him like, there's like a bunch of people scratching for lotteries,
Mm.
and they're like, what are you gonna? What is the first thing you're gonna do once you win? And he's like, cocaine and hookers.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
know
like,
that clip.
my man.
You know the news anchor reporting on the plane crash, and it's like, and we've now received a list of some of the passengers who were on the plane. It's like a flight to China, and in memoriam for holy fuck, something Wong, we go down, crash ding out. It's just, it was really good, and the reporter's completely oblivious. But yeah, that was a great clip. Love
Did
that
did
one.
you have any favorite scenes? We've discussed a few of them or dialogues.
Yeah, I loved the how about the I thought the magic show was fun. I loved the girl behind the camera. We know that actress. I don't know her name, but
Ashley is her name in the thing. Uh, no, it's yeah, Ashley Hinshaw.
is that her? That's her.
That's her actual name.
Oh yeah.
And in
What's she been in?
I don't know.
No, she looks
Yeah.
familiar.
Yeah.
Ashley Henshaw.
I
Yeah, you're
think
right.
that was a cool concept to have
Caramel
her.
Cherry. Yeah, nice person. She hasn't been in
Right.
anything. Really.
And even if she was just there to add another perspective of this found footage thing, but it gave, like, it was kind of like a trick almost, you know, where it's like, okay, he's out there trying to hook up with this lady after destroying people in beer pong, right?
yeah.
Uh, and you see his friend who's trying to record the party, and then you see the girl also, and so you kind of get like more perspective and nice way to kind of fill the space,
Very much so.
right?
Yeah, very much so.
Even when the car is falling and all, she's still recording the whole time,
Yeah.
so it's like, oh, that's how you get that footage as well. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
primo thinking outside the box.
And it makes sense for her to be in there. You know, the
Yeah,
girl with the camera.
the girl in the camera.
Totally fits.
Yeah,
Totally
it's like
fits.
the blogger.
Yeah.
I also so for me when so I love having a super strong villain. The bad guy being like, I am evil.
Yeah.
That's something that I've really enjoyed in Marvel movies compared to DC movies. Is in Marvel, like the villains have like really great motivations
Mm-hmm.
and really messed up moral compass.
Mm-hmm. And
And
they're relatable though.
yeah,
Like you can
exactly.
understand their perspective.
Right. And you kind of feel like I see why this guy is so passionate and driven to destroy everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so this character arc of Andrew turning into, you know, this whole evil person was very nice because it was really realistic. One of the things that the movie faced a lot of backlash on was showing the abuse from the father
Mm.
after drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something we've are also missing in movies is these real life problems that
Mm-hmm.
are still happening, right? But it's not often like talked about, and
Mm.
it's like, oh, you make movies always this happy place, but you also kind of want to like, I think from 2015 they shifted everything to just like drug use, and like every movie you would have somebody who's like really addicted to
Mm-hmm.
drugs
Or PTSD, your mental
or
health, and
PTSD, right? It's like we haven't had okay, we've had one or two, but war movies stopped being made because it was like, oh, war is kind of like stigmatized. Like we had like 1917,
It's a good movie.
right? But
Clever that continuous shooting.
yeah, it's to be like a one shot, and we need like one of the reasons this Emmy Awards adolescents won,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
And one of the reasons I think it won is because it really portrays a very raw emotion and raw feeling of like crime between teenagers, and it just puts it on the table as is.
Mm.
And I think that's like a point of like discussion that we like it's difficult, so we kind of want to avoid it. I want to go watch a movie and see like a dad beating his child, but it's still going on, right? Dads are still getting wasted, coming home and beating the mom and the son,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's super wrong.
I don't necessarily know what I mean. Like, I think it might get glossed over sometimes, or it might not. It's often. I wouldn't say it's necessarily regularly avoided. It might not be blatantly depicted and like actually shown. It'll be hinted at, but they also make a but I find that the movies where it does come up is movies that are just designed to be like really fucked up, like a movie about slavery or
Yeah.
Precious or something, and they're just the whole purpose of this movie is just to show the fucked up life this person has. Would you like to bitch about our technical difficulties?
Yeah, I would. I would love to. I'm like really trying to like cry, but I'm too mad. Like,
So
okay.
our mics died.
So so
It's just so many things.
yeah, and everything is kind of fucked. And the little me is crying for help. The little alien guy who controls my head is like, uh, but we'll stay composed.
We're back on track.
As you've noticed, nothing happened. That's how it was.
No change
Yeah.
whatsoever.
What lighting? Yeah.
No, we went to Cuba and got tan.
Yeah. Honestly, lighting is.
We went to South Africa for
only.
for the intro.
Yeah, this is what happens when you don't have a budget, but you have a will to make a fantastic episode.
Shout out to our sponsors.
Sponsors. Well, it's not electricity. No. Okay. Yeah. Cool. I need. Now I know. I need to figure out how to, because we did figure out. We ran into the same problem when we started doing the pod, and then we lost a few episodes and they were broken. So if you've seen those, thank you for sticking through us, and sorry to do this again.
Probably won't be the last time.
Yeah, I do want to say I'm gonna be on top of it, but no, I don't think so.
No, it should it's a curve. It's a curve of learning.
Yeah, because I think we changed the arrangement, and I totally forgot that if I keep the laptop there, I didn't even forget. I thought about it, but I was like, I have no way of connecting that, so I just need to find a solution for it. But while I'm on this rant on bitching again, and I don't know how much of the recording survives. Maybe this is one of those moments where how the trailer works, where it like the whole movie plays off and then they rewind the whole thing.
Oh, but joke's on you. In a year, we'll release found footage.
Yeah, it'll be me blowing my head off.
No.
Yeah, if things like this happen, this gown is a foreshadowing of my future mental state.
Put him in the asylum.
Yeah. Maybe you guys don't exist, and I'm just looking at a wall, going crazy.
Was it the We were at. Who was the comedian who
Jim
made
Jeffrey.
the joke about the hallucinating their
It's like that.
Yeah, that was a pretty good joke.
Okay. Quick version of our Bitchfest. We talk about things that logically or comically or for some reason we didn't like. Now these are hot takes and are our takes. So if you agree.
It's also, for those of you unaware, it's 12:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So,
It's Friday already. But hey, for you guys who are just on your way to work, keep going, man.
Amen, brother.
Okay, Bitchfest, go on.
Bitchfest.
Yeah, can you do some talking?
So I really didn't have many bad things to say about this movie, and that's normally the case for me. In case it got cut, I decided to bitch about some things just for the sake of bitching. So, acting by the father, didn't like the mother, didn't like the way the sinkhole or the what I thought was a meteor hole collapsed, didn't like the lack of explanation for a meteor, didn't like the fact that what I thought was a very small hole from a meteor ended up being this giant thing underground. Didn't understand the spirals at the end of it, but cool imagery. They killed Steve. It just hurts, man. But I think I'm pretty much good with the rest of it. Like, I like the movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I also like the movie. I want to preface everything with that.
All right. But you got some stuff to say, I can see.
I do bus flying that I'd spoken about with the horn, which is like,
fair.
Don't need that horn. Talking about how he is the strongest person out of the three and is really in control. But then he's going kind of crazy, throwing these cars at Matt. And then goes and gets hit by like a light bulb.
Yeah,
he could have just been flying a little bit higher, like above street light level, I guess. What else did I have here? His camera never breaks.
Yeah,
the kids like kick it in the school in the beginning,
and he moves out of the way.
Yeah.
By the way. In that scene, he moves out of the way of the camera. He lets it hit the locker.
Yep.
Can we fuck?
And
go on.
Fine.
It's your bitch fest.
And it's like, yeah, see, see, yes. As much as laughter is, anger is also contagious. um, then what you mentioned about the, I don't know if you guys that audio is still there with us, but the how when the camera moves away, his voice is still the
Oh
same.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Also, the focus of the camera never changes,
Great point.
right?
Should have.
When it's like kind of
Definitely should have.
moving around.
Yeah.
Um, uh, when they first come back from the grave
Mm.
and they're throwing the hitting the ball at each other,
Mm-hmm.
Matt is the first one who gets the ball thrown at him by Steve, and he hits Matt on the right
Yeah,
cheek.
yeah, yeah. Right side of the face, and it
Yeah.
shows up on the left.
And then it shows up
Hated
on the
that.
left, and I was like, this.
That's sloppy. That was sloppy.
Yeah, that's sloppy.
Yeah.
Kind of adding to my points about the director earlier, but I guess karma got me today. um, the grass on the hole again when Andrew comes and visits the hole. Uh, my first initial thought was that, oh, this is where Steve falls and dies, because they say that Steve was found in
Middle of a field.
in
Yeah.
the field. If that was supposed to be where he actually fell and died, that's not a field.
No, I don't think that's where he
Right.
fell and died.
Uh,
That was the sinkhole.
Right, there's a
That was the
sinkhole.
hole.
And
Yeah.
there's too much grass on that sinkhole. Given that the government had stopped people from entering and the stone was like, the ground was not stable enough,
It was
there
total bullshit.
to be so much grass, I was not happy.
I agree. That's not how it fills in.
The dialogues being a little bit too cheesy. I
The
think
which?
the dialogues, right?
Love it. Keep it up.
I think it's like kind of out of a novel, but it's like not a realistic way how I imagine or how I as a teenager spoke or seen in my interactions of like this is how teenagers like react. Given that I did not go to school to like an American high school, so I don't have that experience. I've always thought about it because a lot of movies I watched was high school movies,
I just didn't have friends.
right? Who did, man? Everybody had, I don't know, traumatizing parents.
I had a very caring uncle. No, sorry. I shouldn't make that joke. My family's amazing.
He didn't only touch my heart. um, and the alcoholic
For
dad,
the first 10 years of my life, I thought he was a doctor.
he was a okay. I will say I've told you this again, but sorry, I've told you this once. I'll say it again. Chiropractors are not doctors. But yeah, okay. Going back to the point, the dad. I don't think the alcoholic dad is shown in the best way they could have.
Hmm.
They have alcohol bottles for no reason, just to show that he's an
Yeah.
alcoholic.
Okay. A little forced.
Right? I think if they, and it's like every bottle they have shown is upright.
Yeah. And they're all right by the front door.
Yeah,
It-
that
it-
too. I saw that.
10 feet away from his chair.
10 feet away from his chair.
They
It's
wouldn't
like
be there.
He just sits out a window getting drunk. No, he sits at
Well,
a TV
maybe he
watching
comes in.
sports.
He comes in the door with an empty and plops it down on that table there. I could see
and then
that.
sits down on the chair, take off his shoes.
Sure.
Okay,
Goes to the beer, gets another one.
Yeah.
But it's forced all
Yeah.
the same.
Even the one in the basement, I like the idea they tried where they kind of like threw everything, like he just rips everything.
Yeah.
Right? But I think instead of just like kind of having like a physical attribute to it, what they try to do in the end show a little bit more of the psychological side, a more representation of the psychological side than they have done so far would have been, I think, for me a little bit more believable, right? Because it's like, yeah, I don't have that experience personally, but just imagining that when you have like a family member, especially like a parental figure who's in that position, it can be like, really bad in your psychology. And these people, like his cousin, and his friends now have no idea about his dad. It's also kind of hard to believe because kids in high school kind of pretty much like your friends in school. If you had abusive parents, your friends in school would be the one you would confide to and be like,
Yeah,
"Bruh."
and we see him confide in Steve. So
Yeah.
Matt should,
And Matt is the cousin,
Yeah,
so he
yeah,
should
yeah.
know, right?
Though we don't necessarily know that Matt doesn't know that, but the dynamic doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily indicate that he does. So I think that's a fair
It would be
criticism.
even worse if he knew and he did nothing to help. It
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, okay. Honestly, I'm just happy that you're back. I think
Yeah,
that's
cheers. Happy to
the
be back.
that, that's the no. I know. Yeah, I think that's the positive I will take from this episode. Uh, we had some ifs and buts, but it was still fun.
Amen.
Uh,
Great time. I
also,
thought it was going great.
yeah, and not for the video people maybe, but for the audio people, they'll have a better time for sure. Fingers crossed. But yeah, even the movie, like, I'm glad you picked up this movie. This is like a really good movie. Like, I really connected with it when I first saw it. Uh, and we've spoken about this movie
Mm-hmm.
a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man.
Yeah, happy to do it. Popped you. I think you mentioned the idea of doing this for the pod the first time a couple months ago, and popped in my head a few days ago. I'm like, fucking great movie. Let's do it. I had wanted to see it, and yeah. So what do you rate it?
What do I rate it? Out of 10? I'm going to
No,
go
14.
14.
No, 10.
Okay.
What's the number we use every episode?
Yeah. Hey, so I'm going to give it a 7.
That's high for you. So
Yeah.
what's another? Didn't you gave Holmes and Watson like a 7? Didn't you? You gave them like a 9.
No, I give them a 6.
Did you?
The only 9 I've given is I think
Circle.
I deducted 9 for it. No, the only 9 I've given I think is like Wally, or even that I
Oh,
think I
yeah.
gave it a 8.
Yeah.
That's something what I've been doing is like when I do post on Spotify, I make it as a rewatchability score
Mm-hmm.
and kind of average our score and then use that
I
number.
like that. We should just have like one. We should have an actual fucking poster or something with all the constantly changing names.
Yeah.
I always forget.
That's what our fans are for.
Yeah, make us a poster,
Yeah.
please. We'll figure something out to incorporate you and talk about it if we ever get there.
Exactly. Yeah, 7. I think the main things that took me away this time, because I was really shocked because I went this time watching the movie with a lot of high expectations because I had like previous love towards the story and the movie,
Yeah.
and I was a little bit let down by the
Really?
whole experience of just like the acting of the characters, the dialogues, the choice, the flying, and this time watching it, and I don't really like that feeling because it makes me feel a little bit more cynical than I should be, because I'm a huge advocate for trying to, at least like for myself, I keep my innocence of like, oh, this is like just a movie and I'm just in that experience. But I felt like a lot more disconnected with the whole movie than I have previously seeing it.
Well, yeah, it makes sense if you're looking at it with a bit more of a critical eye, and
Yeah.
you know.
But nonetheless, great time. 1 hour 24 minutes of total fun.
It was only an hour 24 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, it's quick. Like
It
everything.
doesn't feel it. It doesn't feel quick.
Yeah,
That's great. I love that. I appreciate that.
yeah. What's your score?
Um. 7. I think 7's a good score.
So
My inclination is to maybe say 8, just because I like found footage. I want more of them. I want more of them in my life. I think in terms of found, I was going to compare it to the other found footage films, but then I realized I really don't want to do that. So, 7.
7.
Yeah. I like 8 more than I like 7.5 for some reason, but 8 feels
Yeah.
wrong, so I'm going to go with 7.
Sweet. I like that. Well,
We'll watch again.
yeah. I definitely. But I think the same time period.
Yeah,
I'll give it like
4 years. 3, 4 years. 10 years?
10 years.
No,
Almost. Yeah.
I might end up watching it with my. It's been probably 5 years for me.
This goes in the bank to show my kids. The next time I'm going to
Yeah.
watch this movie is going to be
Yeah,
with my kids.
show. Yeah,
Right? It's
I like that.
kind of a soft introduction to superhero movies and like the idea of like, yeah, gravity is not real always. In movies you can think outside.
And when you get up there in the air, kids, and you learn how to fly, you'll see the Earth is flat.
What do you mean? It doesn't all everybody know that? Is that not what they teach you in school?
What are you, stupid?
Yeah. Is this why education is
Get me
failing?
a beer. All right, guys, that's a wrap. If you have enjoyed flying with us here, don't let it stay in the shadows. Hit us with a like, a follow, and the other social media related things that he's in charge of.
Yeah.
But do all of them. There's a button somewhere. I think click it. It's one of the corners.
That's my telekinesis power. But yeah, and if you have any ideas on what is the first thing you're gonna do if you had telekinesis, let us know in the comments.
That's a good question. It's the first thing you would do.
I have a few people I would like to use it against at this moment.